Hello everyone, it's Marie and welcome to another video. So today I'm making a video talking all about how I do my money when I travel. So how I draw out money abroad. I travel permanently. I'm actually living abroad right now in New Zealand on a working holiday, and I just did 1 year of travelling around Europe, you know, going around lots of different European countries, and working online and getting income from an online source, and I'm also getting income here in New Zealand from a job I have here, and overall, you know, I'm always exchanging currencies and things, and in the last year I've learned a whole ton of stuff about, you know, just how to transfer currencies, how to draw out abroad, and how to just cut down the costs and make it easier and simpler. So I'm going to share with you all the things I've learnt in this video, so let's just get into it. Before we start though, definitely hit subscribe and like this video if you find it helpful. I make videos about working online, full-time travelling, and working holidays here in New Zealand, and tons of other cool stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely stick around, follow the journey, and let's just get into it. Okay, so as I just said, I've been travelling for over a year now, and you know, when I was travelling through Europe I was always exchanging currencies, you know, Hungarian forint, Danish krona, the euro, the Great British pounds, you know, all these different currencies. And now here in New Zealand, obviously I'm using New Zealand dollar. When I travelled here, obviously I went through Singapore and I went through Australia. As a whole, I've just learned a ton about exchanging currencies and stuff. So I'm just going to get into it and show you the things I've learnt. When I travelled around Europe, mostly I used my British bank account, because obviously when you're fast travelling you can't just get a bank in that particular country. You know, if you're just like doing a Euro trip or just travelling around different countries and you're not living there, you're just travelling around, you're just going to use your home-based bank account, right? So I used my British bank account at first, and initially what I would do is, obviously I'd get paid my online wages or your savings, however you're doing it, and they would be in my British bank account. And what I found at first was the cheapest way of doing it was just drawing out at the ATM. So I wouldn't bother with currency exchange, I wouldn't bother doing it at airports or whatever. I would just draw out at the, you know, the ATM in the wall, and I would get out large amounts of cash at once. So maybe I'd get, you know, £200 to £300 worth of cash at once, and it'd last me like a month or something, and that'd be for like all my food and expenses and whatever. And also I would try to buy a lot of things online, so I'd try and book my accommodation online so I could pay in pounds. I'd try and book my flights and my trains and stuff online so I could just pay for it all in pounds, and it'd be so much easier. So if you can definitely pay for things online in your own currency, do that and draw out large amounts of cash at once, because you'll get charged less ATM fees, because obviously you usually get charged like per transaction. So just draw out more at once, which is obviously the first thing I found the most helpful, especially when I was fast travelling. Once I'd been travelling a bit, I learned about the bank Revolute. Now I'm not sure if you can do this in every country. There's lots of different online banks and more borderless banks becoming available now, so definitely find out what works for your country. I know there's a really good one in Germany people use, but for me as a British citizen I found Revolute was amazing. So I'm not going to show you my bank card, but I will put up a picture here of Revolute Bank, and basically it's an online bank where you download the mobile app onto your phone, you apply online, and they send you a bank card through the post. It's a contactless bank card, it's a MasterCard, you can use it in any country, and basically what you can do is you can top up credits. You can load up to 10 currencies in at once. So what I would do is I would use my British bank account and I would top up my Revolute bank account with, say, 500 Great British pounds, and then I would convert it on the Revolute mobile app to whatever currency I wanted it to be in. So when I was travelling Europe I would probably transfer it to euros, and then I would end up having like X amount of euros in my Revolute bank account, and then I could just use that Revolute bank card like any card. I could use it at the ATM to draw out money, I could use it to pay for transactions, whether it be contactless or chip pin, whatever. You know, I could just pay at train stations and anywhere like any ordinary card, and I wouldn't get the bank fees, the conversion fees that I would get with my British bank account, because it was all in euros. Now I'm not 100% certain, but I think Revolute does charge you a small percentage after so many transactions, but I never got charged anything when I used Revolute, so I don't know, maybe it's over a certain amount, like £2,000 or something a month, which as a frugal budget traveller I never spent more than that a month. So yeah, but I mean I'm not certain on that, and definitely research into it. But Revolute was like a lifesaver for me when I was travelling around Europe, because like I said, you can hold up to 10 currencies on there, and I'm pretty sure if I looked I probably still have euros on there now, but I could transfer the euros to New Zealand dollar now. So you can just, you know, change them back and forth whenever you want, and you don't get charged anything to do that. So it's not really a big deal, it's really casual. So Revolute is like an amazing option, especially if you are British. Another thing that I do a lot here in New Zealand is, especially when I first arrived, is using Transferwise. So obviously when I first arrived I had my savings in Great British pounds, and until I got a job here and until I started earning New Zealand dollars into my New Zealand bank account, I had to get money somehow to pay for things. So I did originally, as I said previously, draw at the cash point. So sometimes I would go to the ATM with my English bank account and I would just draw out however many dollars I wanted to from my British bank account. That's fine. Sometimes I would load New Zealand dollars onto my Revolute bank card, you know, and that would work just as fine too here in New Zealand. But another thing that I found was really good, especially when paying for big transactions, was Transferwise. So, for example, when we bought our car, that cost 3,500 New Zealand dollars, which is quite a large amount of money to draw out of the cash point. So what I did was I paid the people I bought the car off via Transferwise. So I sent them 3,500 New Zealand dollars from my British bank account using Transferwise, and the conversion rate ended up being like really cheap and really good, and I didn't have to carry big wads of cash on me, so that was a really good thing. Another thing is I often paid myself using Transferwise. So for example, once I opened up my New Zealand bank account, before my wages started coming in, I'd still need to like pay my rent, and I already set up a standing order with my New Zealand bank account to pay my rent, but I wasn't getting in a steady income from my job yet. So I would end up going on Transferwise and I would send myself maybe 500 New Zealand dollars from my British bank account using Transferwise, and then they would just go straight from my British bank into my New Zealand bank. And once again, it just kept the costs down, and it meant that I didn't have to draw out of my English bank. I could just send myself dollars from pounds online using Transferwise, and it just ended up being a much cheaper, easier way of transferring money to myself or to other people in a different currency. So Transferwise is a really good one to do as well. So obviously I've already kind of talked about this, but if you are living abroad, definitely get yourself a local bank account. So obviously now I'm here in New Zealand, I'm here for like 2 years, so I obviously got myself a bank account here in New Zealand. I'm working a job here now, so you know, I get paid in New Zealand dollars, you know, whenever I get my wages each month. So that goes straight into my New Zealand bank account. These days I don't even touch my British bank account. I don't think I have spent anything out of my British bank account savings for like over a month. My rent is paid, my food is paid for, everything is paid for via my New Zealand bank account now. So because obviously I'm getting my wages from my job here into that, and it's just like that's my sole bank account now. So obviously if you're living abroad, get yourself a bank account in that country, because then you don't have to deal with any fees, and it's just like normal and regular. So that's another thing that I do. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do it right now. I hope I went into enough detail and I didn't kind of speed through all that information, because I feel like I've just given you a lot of information very quickly, but that's pretty much what I do. So just to recap, Revolute, Transferwise, get a local bank account, draw out at the wall when you can, and pay on card online if you can for things like accommodation and flights and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this was helpful. It's really strange me making this video about this, because I remember when I did my 1,000 subscriber Q&A and someone asked me how I did all this, you know, online currency exchanging, etc., and how I pay for things abroad, and it was still a topic I was very new to, and I hadn't really had much experience with it, and I was really struggling with a lot of card fees and stuff, because at that point I didn't really have much experience with this. But now I've been doing this for a year, I've learned tons of tricks and tons of ways of doing this, and now transferring currencies and travelling around and dealing with different currencies all the time is totally cool to me and totally normal, and yeah, it's like natural to me now, and I feel like I don't really deal with transfer fees anymore. But also it's just good to accept that when you're transferring currencies, you're going to deal with it. I mean, it's just the way it is. I have an online job and I get paid through PayPal, and you know, sometimes obviously I get paid in US dollars, and then it gets changed to Great British pounds, and then it gets changed to New Zealand dollar. You're going to experience some sort of fees when you're dealing with currencies anyway, so I've learned how to keep the costs down. But one good thing to remember is you're always going to have these fees. It's always going to be a thing, so learn how to keep the costs down, of course, but don't get too upset about it. It's usually like £5 or £10 or something for a transaction. if you're going to get a fee. It's not the end of the world, and it's just the price you pay to travel at the end of the day. And when you are exchanging through different countries and different currencies, it's just a part of travel. So don't get so upset about fees either. Deal with them, accept them, and just do what you can to reduce them. So that's all I can really say on that topic. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment below. What do you do when you travel abroad? And do you know of any other cool online banks that are good? I think there's the N26 in Germany, which I wasn't able to get because I don't have like a German address. But I know there are tons of cool, awesome online banks these days and ways of doing it. So leave a comment, let us know what you do. And yeah, I'm going to end this here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.